Hello and happy today to you folks. I hope you guys are having an absolutely amazing day today. So today we're taking a look at my first short story, and this collection is called Haggopian and Other Stories. It's by Brian Lumley. It collects all of his Cthulhu Mythos stuff. It's called The Color of the Black for you folks. It's about 28 pages long. I read about a little bit less than an hour when I was on my way to church, and that sort of thing too. It's nice, fun stuff, love it lots. And so, you can definitely feel this and that sort of thing too. Now, Brian Lumley, this is his first short story he ever wrote for anybody. He wrote it when he was definitely a younger guy. For you folks, he wrote it and he sent it off at Arkham House, which was currently being run by August Derleth. And August Derleth was a protege of H.P. Lovecraft and that sort of a thing. As a reminder, I'm somebody who has loved Lovecraft for a long time. And my first favorite author was J.R.R. Tolkien with Lord of the Rings when I was in grade school. It was my first adult book, and then fantasy became my favorite genre. And then I moved to R.A. Salvatore, became my favorite author, and that sort of thing too in junior high when I started to read his stuff. Being published contemporaneously, I read tons of fantasy there too. Then I read Michael Moorcock a few years later in high school. As a junior, and he became my next favorite author. He sort of matured me as a reader, and then after that, it was I came across a 3-volume collection of H.P. Lovecraft stuff when I was in college in junior year by Del Rey collections that publisher that I really liked. Did a lot of fantasy and science fiction stuff and then after that, one of those was his Cthulhu Mythos stuff. One of that was his early horror stuff based on Poe. And then the other ones were his stuff that were based on his Dreamland stuff from Dunsany that are in more of the fantasy realm. Loved him much. He became my favorite author. So today I've read thousands of Cthulhu Mythos stuff too. Read about 3 or 4 Brian Lumley short stories in various collections. He actually would go on to write after he would leave the Cthulhu Mythos short stories. He would go on to write some novels in the horror genre too, like that sort of thing too. But I've also gone back and picked up a 2-volume collection by Lovecraft of all of his co-writes, like The Mound, The Diary of Alonzo Type, or Winged Death, that sort of thing. So you can check out that stuff. Many of those are for just great folks. Now, after he died in 1937, and I call that a couple of years later to the end of Generation 1. August Derleth, who would take over many of his writings, other people from the pulp era too. In that first era of the generation of the Cthulhu Mythos that sort of collected various things, he would sort of take that over in Arkham House too, and then start to do some publications of that sort of a thing. So basically, he is the main guy right now when Brian Lumley sends him this story, The Color of the Black. But I think it definitely more, instead of saying it would feel like a Lovecraft short story, and even Lumley admits this in the first couple of pages in the introduction, first couple of paragraphs rather, in the introduction, he actually admits it's probably more of a Derleth story. Now, August Derleth wasn't the best author in the world compared to like his protege. He's more of a protege of Lovecraft, right? But he's on the line, and that's what I think too. So Brian Lumley short stories I've read before, because they're written in the time of the Lovecraft of the Cthulhu Mythos in the first or the second generation. Things are being more and more revealed. People are sort of revealing those sorts of giant things, what's behind the scenes of the Cthulhu Mythos, rather than sort of keeping it the mystery that Lovecraft and the people in the first generation did. And then in Generation 4, they start bringing back and they leave that stuff, which I like it too. But this is definitely written in that time of that open era. And then he actually would have a collection from Arkham House that actually led with this title and had it The Color of the Black. So I feel like this would have been something that I wouldn't like, but I actually liked this more than I thought it was going to. As his first short story ever written. I think it's the first short story he's ever written. It's more of a Derleth, right? Pastiche, than a Lovecraft pastiche, right? It's his first short story, right? This is something he's writing kind of like fan fiction, if you will. I figured it might be a 5 or a 6, right? As his first professional publication early in his career. But I was surprised by how good it was. How it adds some stuff to the mythos rather than just filling in blanks, which they seem to want to do. Oh, who was this person that was mentioned in a Lovecraft short story? Let's find out. I'm going to write you an entire short story about it so I can fill in the details. He's adding something to the mythos of The Color of the Black. My only major issue is that the endings you can see coming early on from like the first 4 or 5 pages in, and that sort of thing too. because of that. And there's no like surprise. Oh, actually, here's what's going to happen. You could totally see it coming as soon as you read the quote from a book, the Necronomicon, that is early on, right? That's I think it's fine. I think it's a 7 out of 10. Actually, that was pretty good. Great opening salvo by Brian Lumley. I know a lot of folks out there don't like him, so I'll be glad that I like this first opening edition and that sort of thing. So there you go for you, folks. Alrighty. So there you are. So let me know what your thoughts are of this short story in the comments below. Remember, I'm not a trained critic for literature. I didn't go to college for study English or literature, right? I don't do this professionally, right? I'm just a fan like you are, right? So that means your opinion really is as much as mine is, all right? Just as a heads up. So I'm happy to sort of engage you with it further, whatever your thoughts are. Again, I'll link you to it in the comments below in case you're interested in checking it out for you, folks. And there we are. Now, I do reviews of this stuff, older stuff, a few decades ago in this case, or sometimes older with some other things too, in the 3 genres that we cover for this channel: science fiction, fantasy, and horror too, right? All in the box for you folks. And then I also do, on Saturday, I do reviews of older serials, movie serials, TV serials, from like Doctor Who, or the Dick Tracy serial, Captain Marvel, Spider's Web. And there you are. On Monday, you do tabletop RPGs or board games like Battletech or Dungeons and Dragons or role-playing, that sort of thing too. And then on Wednesday, I do older video game reviews too. And that sort of thing too. I've done things like Star Control 2 from 1992, Evil Genius 1, even a couple of years ago, like Elden Ring, right? So you can check out that stuff all up and down the block for you folks, and there you go. And if there's 7 older reviews of Wicked that sounds like your cup of tea, or you just want to follow along with this for my time I like to dedicate to the Cthulhu Mythos around Halloween. Yeah, let's check it out and let's do all that good stuff, right? Welcome to the channel. Please do all the YouTube stuff while you're here. Like, hit the subscribe button, the like button, the bell icon to be notified of those 7 videos a week. And then all the other stuff too that I'm doing. Right, up and down the blocks. And then share, right, too. All ready for you folks, and there you are. As you can tell from those 7 older things, right, that I do reviews of and sort of unpacking these things for you folks. Heavily influential in modern days, but we might have forgotten about. It's definitely the passion of this channel. Applying these older things for you. So you can definitely, it's even where its title comes from too, which is a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert. It says that the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old stuff, right? And there's definitely some older stuff out there that we might have forgotten about in our passion for new literature, read new books, new video games, new movies, and that sort of thing too. If we have forgotten, right, these things are standing on the shoulders of giants, like Lumley, who's beloved today with the Necroscope novels, or Lovecraft, or Auguste Derleth in between them, that sort of thing, right? So check out this stuff all up and down the block for you folks, and I think you'll enjoy a lot. And there we go. I want to thank you so very, very much for just taking some time out of your day and investing it, right, and watching my videos, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives. We're pulled in so many different directions too, right? So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it so very, very much. So thank you again, and have an amazing day.